Janine, 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 Janine. How you doing?
Good. How are you? I haven't heard that song for a while.
Very bouncy today.
Awesome.
The sun's out. I went to this last night.
What's that?
This is the launch of the Children's Health Defence in Ireland, which was set up by Robert Kennedy.
Oh, awesome.
In the States. And he did a personalised message for this launch due last night in Dublin, which is great. It's great to see this happening. Some brilliant people. Elaine, this woman Elaine runs it, and a few people that I know. And it was just brilliant because some great speakers. It was great to just go and sit in the audience and see people who have just recently woken up actually doing something.
Yeah.
Because the front pages of the Irish papers here are full of the president, Michael Higgins, the little leprechaun, saying, yes, sex education is a good idea in schools now. Yes. And they're trying to get me to sign this consent form to this sex education, which is going to be full of, you know what it's going to be full of.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Woke agenda. That's what it's going to be full of.
If anybody watching this is from Ireland, go to Children's Health Defence with an S, not a C, because they're Americans and they can't spell, .ie. How have you been? You've been busy as usual.
Yeah, really busy. A little bit crazy over here, but I know you have too. So, yeah.
Well, it's only. What's the date?
10th.
How is it the 10th of March?
I know.
What?
Yeah.
So
I'm coming there real soon.
I know. You're going to be here in a month.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. You excited?
I am. Yeah.
It's the Manchester venue is amazing, and I think you're going to like the Irish one as well. But we're not going to tell anybody. We're not telling anybody where the Irish one is.
Oh, you're not telling where it is?
No. There's a link below if you want to come to the Irish events on the 19th of April. It's a gala dinner. It's a celebratory evening. We'll be there, and hopefully my book will be out. Do you want to see a sneak preview of my book?
Yeah, I do.
Because yours isn't ready, is it? You naughty girl. I knew it wouldn't be.
You knew.
No, I didn't know, but you know. Here we go. There's the front cover.
Oh, I like it.
Do you like it?
Yes. Yeah, really good. Yeah.
No, I didn't steal it from Monty Python.
No.
Honestly.
Yeah. I like it a lot.
Here it is. Come on, where's the content? There you go. Oh, the introduction. That's not been written yet. I like all this stuff. It's kind of pop arty.
Wow.
Images of the age.
Yeah.
They're powerful.
Whoa.
I think. I hope you like it anyway.
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to get that printed in time for Manchester, and you know, hello, we've got loads of people here. I've just realised we're actually in front of people. Hello, people. This is Janine, in case you didn't know. Have you got anything to tell us before we do cardy stuff?
Well, I don't know if you've been keeping track. I know over the pond where you are, big things going down with your government, in particular, the texting files.
That's the UK government, yeah.
Yeah, the UK government. So not Ireland, sorry.
Matt
but
Wancock.
The UK. Yeah, that guy, right? But we got the January 6th stuff getting exposed. And it's almost like it was set at the same time to all just, implode these agendas, these narratives that are totally fake, like the fake pandemic narrative. Oh, I guess I can't really say stuff like
we're live on YouTube.
Oops.
Sorry, channel gone.
Oh my goodness. Okay. All right.
Yeah,
I'll back it up.
Get back to Janine code language. You've been on Rumble too long. You've forgotten how to do it.
It's true.
What are you getting on all of this? Because on one hand, the Hancock stuff is really great to see.
Yep.
But we do know that they are very, very good at sacrificing their own. Sacrificing one of their own, making it look as if. But you and I believe white hats are in control of everything.
Yeah.
And I definitely, I have this conversation every day, basically. But it is a test of everything's a test of faith, isn't it?
Yeah.
So some people are saying, oh, it's a distraction because they're doing other stuff over here. But they're actually, you know, all of this is a movie. It really is a movie, right?
Yeah.
Your card's still getting that?
Let's have a look at...
Let's have a look at the cards.
Make sure. The Sun and the 4. So that actually does look like it's a distraction because a big reveal about infants and little ones.
Good.
Yeah. So this is important though, but they got bigger fish to fry coming right up here. That's going to be really hard to hear. Yeah. And it looks like quickly followed by maybe this is the good military. So some kind of staying in. Let's call it staying in. Okay, while things get rounded up and heated up and exposure, maybe in a big way, like through the airwaves, let's say.
I've been doing the rods with this question for about the last month, and I keep asking this question: will there be a fake nuclear war before the end of March? And then, look, I keep getting a yes.
Yeah.
What do the cards say?
Yeah. Let's look again.
Don't hold me to it, guys.
Yeah, they've been saying what you just got there for quite a while around end of March, but of course they saw it coming a lot sooner than it did. So, but I feel like they've had to put it back maybe a little bit. I feel like it's been held up a little. So here again, we have the 2 of Pentacles, which is, it's one of the times for sure that they want to use. Okay. So it's between a couple of different things, and it has to do with, so see that Pentacle, something to do with the financial situation. Something has to happen there first before all that other stuff. So it's like that. Maybe Black Swan has to, so they have to, because we know they're working on the slow demolition of the financial crash, I guess.
Well, you know, all the signs are there, aren't they?
Yeah.
Are you getting, I mean, obviously you read the cards on this every day. Are you getting that the financial thing is very, very imminent, or?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like super soon.
Yeah.
Because do you remember, what were you doing around the crash of 2009? Do you remember it?
Not hugely, because I was really under the radar, and financially I did everything in cash then. So I didn't have property, or I was renting in low rentals, and yeah, I was going way under the radar there. So I don't remember too much. Do you? What happened?
Yeah. So my business was booming, and we went and rented this place at a posh hotel, and we were having a kind of board meeting, and what I remember is it just came like boom, it just hit really quickly. That's what I remember.
Yeah.
And it was like suddenly the bank things weren't working, accounts closed down. It was a nightmare. Yeah, so this is going to be the bit bigger than that. So,
oh yeah, it's going to be way bigger, because it's been lifetimes in the making, this one. So yes, it will, because I said in my head when you were saying that, is it going to look like that? Yeah, it'll physically look like that, but way worse. You're right. Yeah, because really, really, really wealthy are going to lose big. This one's designed for the elites to lose. Yeah, these guys. Anybody who watches my channels, that's the Hierophant, knows that's the deep state card, and then take that into the darker realms of the word deep state. Yeah.
Bye, baby.
Yeah.
It's good. So a lot of people will see that and then go, oh, what's going to happen to my cash in the bank? What is, is our, I mean, I lightly touch upon finances. I don't go on buy gold, buy silver. I do, but I recommend everybody has a bit of gold, a bit of silver, a bit of crypto, especially the X's, and maybe some shares, just because it's pragmatic. If you've got spare cash, if you haven't, I know it's a pain in the ass, but the big concern people have is that the money that they have in the bank, will it still be there after all this has happened? Because there's a lot of fear porn at the moment about bail-ins.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be to our advantage. It could take 4, and that could be weeks or months for the dust to settle, for you to see that it's to your advantage. Something's been put in place in the back channels that you don't see. So you'll be looking here. See how this guy's looking at those 3 cups? But he's not even seeing one being offered by the universe. And I believe that White Hat Alliance works hand in hand with universal energies. So they've somehow got something that'll help, like this way softer than, it'll be in some way you're going to gain, not lose. I don't know if that's literal in dollars, because remember that whole dollar system could go by the wayside. We're going to have a whole new system, I think. And I think it'll be better and healthier for everybody, but it may not be like replace dollar for dollar, but the whole world's better somehow down the road. Like, it's not going to be overnight though.
What about people who've got no money in the bank? What's going to happen for them if during this crash time?
Oh, that's a good question. Let's have a look. Interesting, and an ace. Okay, so these guys, so this is the demonics, let's call them. Is that an okay word to say? Maybe not too often. We won't say it after this, but you guys know that's would obviously be the deep state, and take that into the upper levels of that. Okay, those guys are the ones losing the biggest. Okay, so people without, okay, so that's the good military and the 3 of Swords. So there's a little bit of short-term pain. That's when nobody can get their money out of the bank, maybe for 4. And I always got this around, could be days, could be weeks. Swords are weeks or days. So there's a short-term pain. And then things put in place again. So this is like people made agreements here. It also looks like there could be a little bit of help offered. So people that didn't put aside extra food or provisions, or so say there's a bit of a shutdown for a while. I think there might be, I do believe there will be, especially when governments all get taken down. This looks like there's some things being offered here. So Ricardo Boise always says that. He says, yeah, make sure you've got enough for you and maybe even some neighbors if you can't afford to, stockpile a little bit. But if you can't, there's going to be others out there helping too. Not to say sit around and do nothing. Do what you can, and then trust in the universe that if you're meant to. Yeah, so nobody's starving. And that's what a lot of people are saying. Nobody's going to starve. Okay, but you will have for a while no access to actual money. And then, there's an offering here, it looks like. So I feel like eventually they actually get in better shape. And if you think about it, the meek shall inherit the earth. I've been getting really strong that's true. Yeah. This is the time when, and I'm not into the Bible or whatever, because I think it's been manipulated, but there are some books out there and some prophecies that are absolutely dead on. And that's one of them. I really believe that. The meek shall inherit the earth. It's going to do a flip where it's karma too. It's like, it makes sense to karmic law. Crow law is how indigenous people in North America call it, which is exactly the equivalent to karmic law. So I call it crow law. Crow law says anybody who's been putting out nothing but negative, bad, and not for the good of anybody, except themselves, and has been pillaging and stepping on others to get ahead, is going under. And everybody who's been working for the good and depending on the levels is reaping the rewards of their energy output. If you've been doing good for others, even if you haven't been receiving, you're going to receive. And what you're going to need to do is learn that it's okay to receive. It's okay to be abundant. And then you're going to show us how it's now. How do you share that, and how do you use that? Because money and finances is literally an energy flow. Mm-hmm. And I learned to attract it to me. It took me till I was about 59 to finally figure it out. And now I'm 61 and I'm doing great. You know what I mean? But you know what? I had to really work at it and get out of my I'm poor mentality and I'm a poor single mom mentality. I worked my way out of that. I help a lot of people work their way out of it too. It's like, you can't say things like that. You're going to stay in that vibration. You need to actually assume you're always wealthy, because I was wealthy in lots of ways. And I still am. And it's becoming more literal, like how the rest of the world might see it. I wouldn't say the word wealthy, but I'm doing way better, let's just say. Okay. But I worked on it over years. Okay. And it's about trusting, and it's about sharing. And the more I was generous, sharing, and really happy for others who were doing well, instead of complaining and bitching and moaning that they weren't, I'm so poor and everybody else has. I never saw it that way. I was always so joyful when somebody made it and I was doing well. And that's
the way I am.
Yeah.
I'm always buying dinner. I'm always at the bar buying drinks.
Yeah.
I'm always, and I don't care. I just,
exactly.
I give money away every day.
That's how it flows.
And then it just keeps coming back in. And I'm like, wow, you know, I've been teaching people the same thing for over 10 years, but and you guys watching this, if you've never seen me before, there's a link below to a free webinar up for my course, How to Monetize What's Already in Your Head. Go and watch it if you haven't. Mm-hmm. It's free if you can't afford it. If you can't afford it, it's free, because that's 5D business. That's where we're going. This is like a bridging time.
Yeah.
Although I do think it's going to hit, and it's going to be like, I keep getting this big flash. You know, people talk about the solar flare and stuff, and I put it in poems and stuff for the last 3 or 4 years, but it's a big flash, but it's short and sharp. And that's when the upgrades happen. Are you getting that?
Well, recently somebody wrote me and really resonated with me that it'll be a soul, S-O-U-L, solar. So soulful flare, like it almost like it enlightens us in an instant, like what you're saying, but maybe not like we're getting flashed with light or whatever, but it'll be more on a spiritual level. Yeah, we're going to get a big download or a big upgrade, download, maybe at the same time. And yeah, I've been getting that for a while. And I feel the symptoms that people talk about. I literally feel like my body's getting ready to work in a different way.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Me too. That's why I'm bouncing up and down like this. I'm 54 years old next month. What am I doing?
Awesome.
Yeah, and do you know what else I'm getting? I'm getting a lot of past life stuff coming up. I'm sort of, it's like the TV's tuning in. It's like a signal that's coming through, and I'm starting to remember things from the past, from other lives, and I can feel that information coming. Do the cards? Do you think we're gonna suddenly remember all our past lives?
So part of the population will. I feel like there'll be different ways. So this is a large part of the population will. Okay. And it'll depend on their, kind of like how they're, I guess, wired, right? Everybody's going to feel it in different ways. Some people will remember that. Other people will, their gifts will become really obvious. Right? Like people that haven't discovered what their healing gifts are. And I think you've already discovered that. Okay. But people that are really closed that way, I think they're going to open up that way. I think it depends on the level you're at, if you're ready for that. And so there's levels of it. But yeah, that's one of them for sure.
So that'll probably be the 25, 28% or 22% of people that are not NPCs. Let's put it that way, because I've been getting 75% of the planet are NPCs with the rods, and that kind of that ties up with Megan Rose and a few other people that have said similar numbers. So I did the rods on them. Do you remember have you been on Truth Stream with Scott and Joe? Have you been on their show yet?
No.
Do you remember them? And
yeah, I do. Yeah. And I think
so. They asked me the question on their show, and I did the rods on it, and it was like, oh, it is 75%. Crazy as that sounds.
I did the cards on it. Said the same thing.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
but
we can't all be wrong.
Fragmented souls. So it's not like they're soulless, all of them, but they're fragmented. I don't know. It's interesting. Like the way it comes to 75%, it seemed like there was different levels of it.
Interesting. Somebody's asked a question in the comments. I'm going to bring it up because it keeps coming back to this, right? So whenever me and Lewis have a chat, I just tell him, it just feels like the White Hats, as in God, is in control of everything. And then Lewis will say, well, why is the child trafficking still going on? Why is this happening? Why is that still happening? And my answer is because this is soul school. This is part of everybody's karmic journey, their soul contracts. These bad things have to happen for the other people to graduate and see and feel these things. So Susan Wheeler's asked to put a point here, and I'm going to read it out and then see whether the question comes up from this. She says, the White Hats weren't in charge of the earthquakes in Turkey and Syria. I don't believe that the Dark Hats are not causing trouble. So to say that the White Hats are fully in charge is misleading. What do we say to that? I think I've given my answer.
Okay. I generally pretty much align exactly with what you said in what you called your answer. But let's see what the cards want to say to her in case, we need.
Because I think it's a valid point.
Yeah. So there's, again, that death card. So slowly but surely dying a long, slow and painful death to rebirth. And this card is always in the process of. So the bad guys. Okay. They're in the process of dying a long, slow process death. It's being drawn out, it feels like. And then here we've got the Chariot here, and things are about to really speed up. So it's been going really slow. So some of what she's saying is true. I mean, there are still some little pockets probably of, bad. I believe it's not that they're in control though, because all their upper management, let's say, is taken out. I believe that. So I'm feeling like, it's just the minions that didn't get the memo that their boss is gone, okay, and they're still playing out their MK altered, reality or what mission they were given. Okay, so that's what it feels like, and things are about to speed up, and they had to leave a lot of things in play. So things got left in play, even to do with the weather, okay, because they had bigger fish to fry, it looks like, the White Hats.
And it's the flush out, right?
Yeah, there's that. And they have to allow people to see firsthand what these guys are capable of. And they're going to have to go back, because this card says they had to leave it that way. They got to go back in and go, this is why we did this to those higher ups. This is why we had tribunals and did this, because people are going to want to know on what grounds is it okay to take, really big people out of the, Oprah, all kinds of really big names. On what grounds are you processing them at south of Florida Spa, if that's where that happened? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Obama, Big Mike. Like, how are they going to explain that? What they're doing there?
I just took my daughter out for lunch, and she was with a friend, and she sort of takes the mickey out of me, and she was going, "Yeah, didn't you know Michelle Obama's a man?" And her mate going, "What?" And then she got all these pictures out and showing pictures of Mike's wiener.
Yeah,
it was very amusing because they're like 16 and they're just giggling about it.
Yeah,
but I am noticing even at the event last night that the kind of out there stuff that we discuss is getting into people's minds now.
Yeah.
This is anecdotal, by the way. I've not done a survey or been around with a clip, but I'm seeing it, and I'm seeing people talk, especially young people. There's a lot of kids on TikTok talking about this stuff.
The white hats got a hold of TikTok. Maybe quite some time ago. Yeah. But they've been flooding it with things. My son, 19, now he's coming and telling me things I told him 2 years ago about the music industry. And I'm like,
right. It's quite hard, isn't it, to do that?
Yeah. Oh, they're demonic, are they?
Are they?
Interesting. Yep. They're outing them all over TikTok. And that's apparently going to really ramp up. So they're saying that's about to really, and that's why, have you noticed some of the governments like Trudeau, our foolish, fake puppeted guy? Okay, that guy, he's been talking about TikTok needs to be banned in Canada all of a sudden. Yet he's really into China. So that's interesting.
China.
Right? China. Okay. So, and then other governments are saying the same thing. Why is that? Why do they all of a sudden want to ban TikTok?
I've got a picture of your illustrious leader in my book. Would you like to see it?
Awesome. I'd love to. Yeah.
Yeah. I've given him a whole page. You ready?
Oh, perfect. Yeah, I'm ready.
There he is.
The title's brilliant. Very good. Very good. That's one of his, obviously it's not him anymore. That's definitely not him.
Yeah, I mean, I consistently say this to people. So not one of them is the original person. They just look at me, are you sure? And it's just this, it's going to be so wonderful when it's all revealed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, right. So if all this shit's going down imminently, are we still going to be able to do the shows in Manchester and Ireland?
Let's have a look.
Do you realize it's 6 months since I asked you that question in Nashville about whether I was going to do the Manchester show?
What did we say? I can't remember.
You said it was 50-50.
Ooh, okay, let's have a look.
Well, Lee, don't buy my book then. Somebody said, I hate the C word. Well, that's right. I didn't say it. It was on the screen. Yeah. Don't look.
Yeah. Yeah. I have a secret guilty pleasure of really liking that as a swear word, but
it's the best swear word in the world. And if you can't use that word in the middle of what we've just been through, then, can you think of a better word for these people?
Yeah. Yeah. Meeting you actually really helped my inner secret swear bear come out.
Did it?
Oh, yeah.
I gave you permission.
You gave me permission, as a truther to just rock those swears. So a lot of my people would not believe how I like to swear. And I love that C word. And it's almost
word. If you use
a mantra sometimes.
If you use it at the right time, it's perfect.
It's very powerful. That's for darn sure. Okay. So are we going to be able? So we want to, and we're really excited about it. And this is a 70% card now. So it's looking better somehow, because even if things went down, it might be already dust cleared a little bit enough to travel by then. So that's looking really good. It's still not promising. It says there's going to be some stressful things between now and then, in particular, if something happens. I think that has to do with the financial market. I feel like they tipped that one and it has to naturally go down on its own. I don't know. That's just the feeling I get.
Yeah.
Yeah. They tipped the domino and it's got to kind of crash on its own. And
it's like, sorry, I'm interrupting you.
No, go ahead.
No, it's like, when we went to America and did all of that, it was like, you can't live as if this shit's going down tomorrow. You have to live as if nothing's going. You just have to keep living your life.
Yep.
And if you've got travel plans, go make the travel plans. Go out for dinner.
Yeah.
Just keep living. And if shit happens, it happens.
Yeah.
We've got a surprise guest in the waiting room. Can you see him?
No, I can't see him.
You can't see the waiting room?
No.
So this is going to be like Cilla Black doing surprise, surprise.
I'm totally going to be surprised. Lewis, how you doing?
Beautiful. Janine and Mark, how are you?
Have you just woken up? You grumpy bugger.
I wish. Actually, it hasn't been too long ago because it is only 8:30 here.
Yeah.
I got your notification. One thing I do like about YouTube over Rumble for sure is the notifications are very timely, right? So I got your notification and popped on and saw these two lovely folks. So
I thought it'd be nice to have a little reunion.
Awesome.
Yes, it's beautiful.
I mean,
and I know you and I are going to be on a show in about an hour and a half, I believe, on somebody else's channel, right?
Me and you.
Yeah, aren't we?
Oh, you're coming on. I thought I was the special guest. What, you're coming on as well?
I'm gonna say hi probably.
That's Gina's new podcast. She's starting a podcast.
Yeah, Doug and Gina have a podcast on Clearview. So anything I can do to support them, they are amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
I got a feeling I'm coming on that one too.
Oh, great.
Awesome.
I just can't remember for sure.
No, you're on the Truthathon.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah, so that's next Thursday, which is going to be amazing. Oh, I didn't miss that one.
I need to check my diary. Jesus.
Oh man.
Anyway, I thought it'd be nice to say to get Mr. Herms on because it's been 5 months since we were all physically together.
Yep.
Yeah, it's been a while. It's interesting, and I'm glad you brought up the question for Janine, because you and I have this conversation all the time, where I say, because I'm in the middle right now. I'm literally we're in editing on a human trafficking documentary that's going to be released on March 21st. So it gets so deep and so dark when you're digging into this stuff all the time. Two things though, which are very interesting. I do say often, and it's Janine, you corroborated this, is I say the top few tiers of the cabal have been gone for a long time. And the reason why it looks so messy sometimes is because the cockroaches are scattering, and they're undirected, and they're vying for position. You know what I mean? So without any direction. So on the ground, it does look a lot messier for that reason. And then, but there's history of this. The same thing happened when when we took down the cabal in New York, the Italian mob back in the day. The top three tiers were gone, and then it was the cockroaches vying for position, and it got a lot worse before it got better.
Yeah.
But what I have come into within my own spirit, and I've keep asking my question, because I do believe the white hats are winning and doing a phenomenal job. So I start to now, I'm liking it to more of a chessboard. And if you play chess, you can say the word control when you have control of the board. And even though your opponent can move around and make some moves and maybe take out a couple things, you still call it control when it's chess. So I can come over to what you say, Mark, when it control, if that's the way I'm thinking of it. We have control of the board, but there's still work to be done. In my opinion. So there's a beautiful conversation. I think it's very important that friends like Mark and I can have a debate on something and have a difference of opinion and still have a lot of love for each other, because that's the way I see what I call new Terra moving forward, is people can have an intelligent conversation and a difference of opinion and have an extraordinary amount of love for each other.
Yeah. That's the way it used to be.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Before everybody got offended.
Well, that's part of the cabal division, isn't it?
Yep.
So, questions. Let's use Janine while she's got her cards in her hand. You got any questions?
Yeah, let's see. Oh, okay. So here, I'm going to go straight to. I went to it yesterday, and I'm sure I'll get some hate, but I believe that there are some influencers that are actually AI or physical robots.
Are you talking about influencers that we've actually met in person?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Actually, even have been on the Truth Tour.
They're very good, aren't they?
Wow. You guys got to let me in on who you're talking about.
It's me. It is me.
It is me and Mark. We are telling on ourselves.
I'm that convincing. They even made these shit teeth.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, the world is, I'd say yes, because it's the end of the major arcana, so it's all encompassing. We're safe though, so that's interesting. What does that mean? We're safe from them. And in particular, there's one interesting, like certainly a young male, and one that's really this guy's really healthy looking and built.
It's me. I told you it was
interesting. It's definitely Mark.
I think I know who that's talking about. Okay, so the past. So there could have been, yeah, there is more in the past is what I'm getting. And some of them have already been sort of taken off the scene.
Interesting.
Yeah, and they're known to the white hats to be who they are. Like they're known. So they know about them.
That's amazing.
I think they know about everybody.
Yeah. Oh, Mark, that reminds me. Somebody wrote on my comment page, and I actually got really offended and took the comment down, but I thought I should share it with you. They said that that people should question how you and I got into the United States when it was lockdown, blah, blah, blah. And then they made all these ways that we could have done it. And it was all like really nefarious, including we actually have the product if. Like, seriously?
Well, look, I've never answered that question online for obvious reasons, but anybody that wants to know the answer, go to Rumble, type in Mark Atwood, Anaheim, and I explain it on the fucking stage.
Yeah. I've explained it on several readings too. And it's like, okay, so we're lying to you about that?
Well, I'm getting loads of troll stuff at the moment. People are saying, oh, in Telegram group, the Mark Atwood was a shill and a troll. And I'm like, what the fuck have I ever done to make anybody think that?
Yeah. No, they sicked them all on everybody now, because it's like they're the last of these little minions, like Lewis was saying, running around trying to get some leverage, and they got nothing. Right. So that's what they do.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, they're definitely scrambling, because they think about it. We were all in Anaheim together, right? And there was a physical coven of witches casting spells, incanting, trying to take us out.
Right across from where I was, which was hilarious. Remember?
Right. And then one went after you too. And it was like, it was like I thought we were filming the next Harry Potter. It was a trip. But this shows you how desperate they are. If they can't even do anything to it, they're like, oh, just send the witches. Send them to disrupt everything.
Send forth the witches and let's slip the dogs of war.
Right. I'm just saying. So I think we're at the fun part right now.
Well, I keep laughing at them because yes, they can inflict some sort of peripheral damage. I've mentioned this before. I don't know if I've told you this, Gina, but when I got back, every time I closed my eyes, I saw thousands of faces coming at me, going, but I couldn't hear them, and they were behind a kind of glass wall, and it was like, and I was going, what are you trying to say? What do you say? And they were, and then Lewis rang me and said, 10,000 witches have been set upon us, and then I was like, oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. But they do come through people. They can come through cracks in your emotional relationships and people and family and things like that. But I'm still apocalyptic. I'm still an apocalyptimist, because I every time I sit with this, I get this incredibly positive feeling about the outcome.
Yeah,
and it's fine. And anybody watching this that does worry about attacks or psychic attacks or anything like that, don't worry. It's not real. It's not really real. It's designed to create an effect in you. If you become emotionally secure enough and connect to the source, right? To connect to God, the answers are in here. And the answer I keep getting is it's all going to be, it's not just going to be fine. It's going to be amazing. Talking of which, Janine, did you see Donald Trump? Of course you did. Donald Trump's speech about the flying cars and the 10 new cities and everything else.
Yeah, I loved it, actually.
Wasn't it amazing?
I thought it was brilliant. I was like, you know what? And he was asking people to give their ideas, to send in sort of their visuals of what it could look like.
I've already sent him a sketch.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah, I sent him a sketch of a little Lego land house that I built when I was about 6. And I said, Mr. President, I want to live here.
A whole bunch of trolls went after him and said, oh, that sounds like the 15-minute cities. I'm like, that doesn't even remotely sound like the 15-minute cities. He actually asked us humans for input on how that should look, and that people should send in their vision. I mean, are you kidding?
No. I know. There's a key word in there that would indicate it's the antithesis to a 15-minute city, and that's freedom.
Yeah.
You are free to make this and free to implement, free to help build this city. I always say right now, we, for the first time in probably 1,000 years, have the putty in our hands, where we can create what we want, how we want to do it. And
he's prepping us for that.
They're prepping us for that. And it's a beautiful thing. In fact, in March 31st, on our mega event on a truth tour, we're actually having a New Year's Eve celebration, because in my study, I believe that's New Year's Eve right there. And we can have the conversation if you want, but that's New Year's Eve, give or take a few days, but it's right there. And
that means Christmas Day. That means Christmas Day is March the 24th.
No, okay. So here's the way it works, and this is, I'll say I can do it in 2 minutes, but I think it's very interesting. So if anybody looks at your calendar, let's just start with August. If you go back to the Latin origins, August is 6, September, sept is 7, October, we all know oct is 8, November is novembre, it is 9, and December, deca, is 10. So very clear right there that they shifted at least 2 months immediately. Now, take it a little deeper, and you look at a woman's cycle and the lunar cycle. I believe they're 28 days. Because we need to be 28-day months. So if you have 28-day months, there's 364 days, which makes 13 months in the calendar. And then there's 1 day out of time, which I call it, and that's the day of renewal every year. That's the 365th day. So if the way I line it up, and here's another little evidence. Do you think we ever have New Year's and New Year's celebrations in the dead of winter, or maybe after the new renewal of spring with everything popping out and growing? So what they've done is they've intentionally, they being the baddies, have been taking us completely out of our own natural rhythm with Mother Earth.
Is Lewis right?
They've done.
Is Lewis right? Is Lewis right? Yes, he is.
Here we go. I say that I don't want to play their game anymore. Therefore, on New Year's Eve is March 31st. We're going to have a party. Literally, we're going to say Happy New Year's at midnight. We've got Ethan Lucas's band playing. We've got Bruce Poppy doing the DJ work.
I'm going to zoom in with a glass of champagne if you want.
Please do. We can do all of this stuff ourselves. We don't need to wait for anybody to tell us. So Ethan and I are now going to be rewriting the calendar. We're going to publish an actual calendar and he thinks New Year's Eve would be a few days before. Fine. Doesn't matter to me. I know it's right around that time though. I know it.
You know what? Something else Trump said in that speech several times. He said, April Fools again.
He did.
Well,
3 times.
That's the other thing. So thank you for mentioning that. So my belief is, because he says April Fools all the time, he's saying that the cabal has been laughing at us every year on April 1st, because knowing that that's the day out of time. That's the day of renewal every year. April Fools, guys. Because these Satanists sit in their boardrooms just laughing at us. They're wearing masks. Can you believe them? What puppets? Yeah, it's crazy. What would your cards tell you about the 13 months, Janine?
I mean, what you just said sounds totally resonates totally.
Oh, and he also said quantum leap. And Tom, did you see what Tom said about quantum leap, Janine?
I didn't see that. Not yet.
Quantum leap in gematria is 141, which is what my name comes to in gematria, and Tom's.
Wow,
which is weird.
Yeah. And it looks like it's going back there. It looks like it's going back there. And this card says there's a few things we're missing in that information. This is an 80% card, but as we look deeper, we're going to see even more truth in that. So there could be even more adjustments to.
Oh, I bet. Yeah. I'm open to anything. It's just clear as heck that they've intentionally shifted our calendar around just to mess with us again.
Yeah.
Well, what's it going to do for women? I mean, you know, women, as you say, 28-day cycle. When you get a room, I mean, I've run businesses, so have you. When you get a room full of women, all their cycles start harmonizing together very, very quickly. And if that whole thing is out of place, as it is with the current system, that's just going to change everything. Oh, that's
what I get will happen for women. They get way more intuitive. And they come back to their true magical, intuitive prowess.
Which is going to be good for everybody.
Yeah, because a lot of women are really apart from that.
Like, well, they've deliberately done that. I mean, I'm sorry, Lewis. I just had this.
I was going to go there. Right. Yeah. What if the reason why, let's just go there. A woman has such horrible PMS and all stuff is because they're out of sync where we should be in our calendars and so on and forth, the moon and everything else. It's all jacked up. In fact, I had this conversation with my wife, and sorry, honey, I know you're watching, but she has to look at the calendar all the time to figure out where it is. But you wouldn't have to do that if we were on a 28-day calendar.
Yeah, see that? So that the judgment card, I feel like it'll change everything. This card's a wake-up call. So it'll wake up maybe the more natural cycles. Because there's a lot of things messing with the women's cycles, the birth control pills, various different gadgets that people are using for birth control that are physical, you know, like a whole bunch of things. And I feel like once people just get back into their natural rhythm and back into that intuitive knowing, it'll sort that out. But there's going to be some sorting out. It's going to need, your body will need to get back in the right rhythm.
I mean, it's fundamental. And I've done a lot of shows on birth on my channel over the last 3 years because of the births that I witnessed, like with my own children. One was emergency cesarean, followed by a VBAC, followed by natural home birth in a pool, followed by the first all-natural birth of twins in the UK in 40 years, which was an orgasmic birth. Wow. So even going right back to birth, you know, most women that I have met in my life think that birth is this terrible, frightening, painful thing, but the other purpose of the orgasm is for birth, and I've witnessed it, and it's fundamental things like that that will change the human race.
Yeah,
because our children in the future will be born in peace.
Yeah.
Instead of trauma.
Yeah.
Because we're born into trauma and it's all satanic. You guys watching, look at Janice Barcelo. She knows more about this than anybody I've ever met. And it's fundamentally, we have to go right back and go through all of this. Because the other thing I'm getting, Janine, is that we are ascending very soon. So this solar, whatever you want to call it, is the ascension process. And all the things I've experienced in the last 3 years, including the 5D sun that I saw in the Peak District recently, including the Dragon of Light, including the ship that I saw here. Yep. It was all 5D, and I described it as like this. It's kind of a different type of light. It's kind of animated, and we become light. Do we become light beings? That's a question for the cards, actually.
Did I ever tell you that story of a long time ago when all the planets lined up? I think it was 2011, maybe, but people probably in the comments will know. They all lined up, at least 5. It could have even been 7 planets lined up in Taurus. And I remember I was studying astrology at the time, and everyone said, okay, something wild is going to happen. Like we're going to get a big download, yada, yada. And that day, I remember being conscious and watching, okay, what's going to happen? What's going to happen today? And I got on a bus, And everyone all of a sudden in an instant turned into like the big head, big oval-eyed sort of extraterrestrial looking, like that everybody draws, that they've seen, the nice ones, right? With the small body and the big head. All the people on the bus became that. Now, this is weird. So if you guys can help me out with this. And they were light, but they were like beaming light from them, and they were all love. So I almost thought, I was looking at all these people and I thought, oh my goodness, that's what the soul looks like somehow visually. Like, or it could have been saying we're all from otherworldly entities, because remember, we could be mixed from lots of different galaxies apparently, okay, or dimensions. I don't know how it works, right? So anyway, everyone was that, and then they were all directly sending me love light, and it was so overwhelming that I was bawling my head off. But meanwhile, I'm on a bus full of people in downtown Vancouver, and everybody was staring at me. When I sort of came out of my little vision, I was being stared at, and the bus driver was asking me to get off the bus because I was making everybody nervous, because I was looking at them like, like, and when they came on the bus, they were loving me so much.
That was me. That was me on MDMA 20 years ago.
And they were like, could you get out of here? Like, you're making people feel weird. Yeah. So I had to like go home and shut the door and stay home that day. But I got a feeling something like that might be coming, where we're going to see everybody's true light, like you said, Mark. But let's.
Well, I'm feeling that, you know, and it's more apparent every time I interact with people.
Again, I think it'll be different for people. Some people will see it that way, and other people will have big breakthroughs and downloads. So definitely versions of, it'll be different maybe for each person, but all in the positive and breakthrough, like, again, depending on maybe what they're ready for.
Great.
That's beautiful,
isn't it, Lewis?
Yeah. It's so funny or interesting that you were saying your story is, I actually used to, one of my things I would always ask God for is, I said, can you just put a green light over somebody if they're good and a red light over them if they're bad?
That'd be too easy.
I know. I just say, can you just make it easy on me? I just want to know. And these are for decades. I used to do this, you know, ever since I was, you know, probably a teenager, and I was just green good, red bad. And then I know how to take care of it.
No, he's finally done it.
Well, yeah. Well, now it is. Now there's a certain type of discernment that we're learning too, and it gets a lot easier now. It's very interesting.
I was taught that in medicine training when I studied with the medicine man. That was one of the first things they taught us, is how to just feel into who's telling the truth and who isn't. Like some kind of fog would appear in front of people's mouths when they weren't speaking truth. And there's all kinds of things that happen. Yeah. And then I just got really good at it. I didn't need the visuals anymore. And it made me a much better tarot card reader.
Well, that's been one of the interesting things the last couple of years, is like, especially with you, Janine, that when you've said, no, this person's good, and this person, and everyone go, what? It's like, throw them into a tizzy.
Lots of people still want to know, but I try not to, I think we all need, there's no gurus, and I'm not saying I'm right about it all the time or whatever. I'm saying everyone needs to learn to do this themselves. They have the ability. I'm just showing you that you can do it. Like, that's all I want to do. I'm just saying, give yourself permission, because you know this stuff, people.
Yeah.
We're all going to, varying degrees of psychics. We're all going to be, we're psychic beings, humans.
We are. I knew you were going to say that.
I knew you were going to say that.
Oh, I love the old jokes. Any more questions? How long have you got, Janine?
What do we got?
Hang on. You've not had any home appliances delivered in this. What's going on?
Guess what? My kitchen is being renoed, but they're not here today. So thank goodness. Everything started falling apart the minute I bought. I love this place, by the way, but you know, it's 1962 and the whole kitchen was from the 70s, maybe late 70s. And it's like, Everything started breaking over the last 2 years. And I practically had like one burner left. My dishwasher wasn't working. So I was like, okay, I'm moving to the Haida Gwaii. I can't rent this place like that. So I had to get the kitchen renoed.
Yeah, there's kitsch and then there's broken.
It's funny too, because Janine sent a message over to me because we had a show. She's like, Lewis, I'm so sorry, my kitchen's being renoed. Right now, I've owned a construction company, and I'm like, what the fuck is renoed? And then it hit me. Oh, renovated, right? I had to play it in my head. I'm like, what is she doing to her kitchen? And then it hit me. I'm like, oh yeah, I get it. Construction. So
we're gonna go do truth tour in Canada so that we can pick up all these Canadianisms.
Right. Oh, they're fun too.
They are, yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's all about going to Canada, right? It's all about that. It's all about
out and about.
I caught myself saying we're all getting hosed by our governments, and then I went,
"Did you really?
I guess that's really Canadian."
Yeah.
Those hosers.
Yeah. There's a movie back in the day that featured Canadians with all the sayings. I forgot what it was. It was so hilarious, though.
Oh, yeah. Those two guys, those two brothers.
Yeah. Was it
that were always drinking beer? That was kind of
was that Bill and Ted, or was that a different one?
No, that's a different one. I can't remember the name of those two, but they were almost like Dumb and Dumber. I mean, they were
they were a
couple of hosers, right?
That's right. Yes, that was it. That was the one.
Did you see the Mike Myers Good Secret Society series that was on last year?
Yeah.
He summed up Canada brilliantly.
Unbelievable.
The reporter who was really, really nice.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Oh dear. So I've got a load of questions on Telegram if you've got a bit longer.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Because people have left a load of things on here. I might actually pull them up.
If you don't mind, why don't I need to get back to work?
Yeah, piss off.
It's been a joy, and I don't want to take up Janine's time anyways. And thank you for the invite. I'll see you both. I'll see you in about an hour, Mark, and then Janine, we'll see you next Thursday. So wonderful being here. Thanks, guys.
Awesome.
Cheers, dude. See you later.
Appreciate it. Bye-bye.
Bye.
See ya.
Is it a possibility that Jesus and Lucifer were twin flames? Have you had that one before?
Wow, never.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Twin flames. Well, the way I understand twin flames, that doesn't make sense. But maybe they mean karmic soulmates.
I'm not even sure about twin flames.
Yeah. Twin flames. I don't know. Yeah.
There's so many people that said, oh, you're my twin flame. I'm like, well, I can't be the twin flame of like 300 people. That just doesn't make any sense. But anyway.
You could be karmically connected to and have soul family with them. And they're using the word twin. Twin flame, I'll just quickly say what I get about it, is there's a soul essence in the opposite sort of gender, I guess, of you. So you're like, when you come together, you're a whole being, but there's a masculine and a feminine. And if you decided to incarnate here, regardless what your choices, sexual interests are. So it has nothing to do with being gay or not gay or straight or whatever. It has nothing to do with that. It's literally, did you come here with certain body parts and abilities, you know what I mean, as a female or a male? Okay. And there's another essence that's incarnates, but on the spirit level at the very same time. And they're your twin flame. So the two of you together make a whole essence. So it's like you can really go to that energy when you're feeling really lonely. You can literally be. I was helped through a really difficult, very devastating relationship, the one I had with my son's dad. It was very karmic, and I needed to call on and I really literally felt the exact opposite vision of me in a male form, what they'd be like. Very interesting. And they literally looked like a mirror image of me, but what a male would look like of me. And they would come and hold me and get me through it. So they stay on the spirit side and you incarnate physically, and that's your twin flame. That's what I heard. And then soulmates are different. So there can be lots of soulmates. You can have all kinds of things you agreed to do with people. When you meet, you always know, oh my goodness, you got a soul lesson there, and it'll feel like you either are really repulsed by them. That's a soul lesson in itself. If you really have a big reaction to somebody, they're a soulmate, even if you didn't like them.
Yeah.
Because they're going to teach you something, and you made an agreement to do some work together, and there are varying degrees of that, right?
Because people forget this when it comes to relationships, that it's all, even your relationships with your kids, it's all soul stuff.
Totally.
Totally.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is why we have to forgive. The Ho'oponopono and forgiveness. You have to forgive yourself. That's really the key lesson.
Yeah.
For whatever, because it's all exactly what you needed to learn. And that's why I'm always great. Even when really bad things have happened, if I focus on those, I fill them with gratitude because of what I learned, because we wouldn't be who we are without this. And another thing I'm getting is that we've all interweaved many times in past lives. So this is why this is why I love doing the live events, because actually this is your soul family that you're meeting. And I keep thinking that when we remember our past lives, we're going to go, oh, hang on, you were the guy that made me tea in 1750 in Boston, you know, and you're going to remember all these characters. We've all been playing these characters all the time, which is why the NPC thing's so interesting. Yeah, because literally when I go out in my car, there's a guy. He's just walking in a loop all day. Doesn't matter what time I go out, he's walking through town. It's really, and the kids are saying NPC. I've mentioned this before. My kids have been saying, "Oh, they're NPC." That's become part of the vernacular of the teenagers. I don't know if it's happening across the world or whether it's just in Ireland, but you know, when you see that kind of thing coming into the consciousness, it's, and I think people are having to reevaluate what relation, because I think a lot of people throughout the last 3 years have split up from their partners, right? There's been a huge amount of that. Yeah. But then there's also this kind of stagnation in terms of where we go moving forward. I mean, it's great that you're moving to the Heidegger and taking steps to move, but a lot of people feel like frozen right now. That, you know, should I buy a house? What's going to happen to the house prices? Should I? And they've made it really difficult to buy houses right now.
They have,
Is that the same in Canada?
Oh yeah, it's horrifying. Like the hoops you got to jump. Used to be really easy to get any kind of credit. Now is really hard. Used to be really easy to say go get a car with credit, right? So anybody would be they'd give anybody a car and pay it off. Now the hoops you have to jump no matter how good your credit rating is. So to me, it's like they know that the stuff's going down and they're just hanging on to the wallet, you know.
Well, I think President Trump confirmed that when he was talking about the price of affordable housing and new cars and flying cars and cheaper cars. So I've got a question on this.
Wow.
Because I got a very strong feeling since the warp speed stuff and since he was officially in control, I've got a very strong feeling that a lot of these big companies like Tesla and General Motors and Ford and that have been commandeered, and they've been building these flying cars in the background. Do the cards agree with that?
Okay, let's have a look. Well, the outcome is it doesn't want to tell you yet. That's a big secret. That's a big secret.
I know it's true. I know.
And this 5, so not ready yet. We're not ready. We got to pass that one by for now. So I guess it's not saying yes or no. It's saying, well, I won't agree to yes or no on that one.
Okay, fine.
And this card was in the middle, which is really funny. So it's like, you know, some of that, what you said might be true, but there could be another thing we're missing on that. Because this is like some of that, like 50% of this and 5 of that. And it's partly true for sure. But I don't know what that means, partly true. So it's being really elusive. So you just leave it when it's like that.
Yeah. I mean, that's what we've got to do with all of it, is just let it go and ride along. But everybody wants to know the answers. You guys got any questions in the chat? Because I think I've kept Janine long enough now. An hour's, she does a lot of these in the day. Don't you? You got many on today?
I got 2 more.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, I'll let you get off because I've got to do the show with Lewis as well.
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
And I didn't want to work you too hard. And I thought that'd be fun to bring him in. That was fine, wasn't it?
Awesome. I love it.
Yeah, it was great. It's great.
Good.
It's like the gang.
Yep.
So you guys watching, if you want to meet me and Janine in Ireland, there's tickets left at the links below. Come along. We're going to have a blast. You have a beautiful day.
Yeah, you too, Mark.
I've got 2 shows to do this evening. It's Friday bloody night.
Yikes.
What am I doing?
I'm Friday morning. So.
I should be down the pub. All right, you take care.
Okay, you too.
See you guys. Bye.
Bye.